Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
This week we're joined by Josh Poertner, engineering expert and all-round bike nerd from Silca, and we're going to be discussing loads of things, including why Canada has banned TT bikes.
We also have loads of new bikes and hot tech to discuss, as well as comments of the week and the bike vault. Let's get to it.
Well, thanks for joining us, Josh. Great to have you back with us again.
Thanks for having me.
It's always fun. First thing we're going to kick off with is Canada has banned TT bikes.
What?
Okay, well, that was a bit sort of clickbait. They haven't totally banned TT bikes. You're not going to get arrested if you're riding a TT bike in Canada or in possession of one. But what they have done is Cycling Canada has stopped the use of TT bikes for juniors in competition.
Also, disc wheels and clip-on time trial bars as well.
Yeah, on road bikes.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason that they've done this, so that's basically if you're 18 or under, is to make the sport more accessible for young people. Because a lot of the time juniors aren't on pro teams with big budgets, and so it often falls to their parents to have to buy them a time trial bike, and it basically becomes an arms race, which makes the barrier to entry into the sport potentially like prohibitive. So I think it's a good move.
I mean, it's going to be a fantastic topic to discuss. Like, Josh, you're someone who's renowned for being invested in the world of like marginal gains, like maximising performance everywhere. So, I mean, what's your take on this to start with?
Honestly, I like it. I agree with it in principle. I think what probably happens is that you see the rich kids just spend the same amount of money on the ever more marginal gains things. And maybe that money goes into wind tunnel or so. I'll tell you a story. Probably 20 years ago, I was at the wind tunnel with John Cobb and Lance Armstrong and Postal and all that stuff. And John the next day had a kid coming in to do a tunnel test. And the kid wanted to come meet Lance. And so he shows up with his parents and 12-year-old kid. And he shows up on this like Calfee, kind of aero kid's bike for 12-year-old with light weights and like 8 different time trial helmets and skin suits. And he shows up and, the bike is sitting on the wall and next to like Lance's bike. You're like, wow, this kid has a way nicer bike than Lance. So I'm sure the money at the very high end is still going to be spent, but on ever more marginal gains, I think the racing will be tighter, better. The kids with the true talent, hopefully,
that's the
are
thing,
able to
because
show it.
Those things, it's like you can spend. It's decreasing. It's like those are fruit you can pick, but they're not as low hanging as the difference that you can get from a top end TT bike. So, like Michael Barry, the former Team Sky rider, is someone who's been advocating for this because he's gone on record as saying that the difference between a top-end TT bike and, like a low-end one can be, say, 20 places. The difference between coming first and coming 20th in an elite, like, junior time trial. And when you put it like that, you think what we don't want to happen is people who are very talented and very passionate about the sport missing out because...
Yeah, exactly.
That for me is the most important thing. I think certainly when you're at the younger age and the youngest, like, early stage of development, be that in a career or even like physical development, you don't want the deciding factors to be who's got parents with the most money to spend on bikes. I mean, when I was racing, I said this to Josh earlier, as a kid, the most important thing for me, you were onto a winner if you had a bike that was the right size, let alone like if you'd been and visited the wind tunnel. Like, I don't even think when I started racing, I knew that wind tunnels were even a thing.
Yeah, it's like, well, you shouldn't, should you? You shouldn't need to know these things. And I think it is a problem for the future of the sport and getting young people in if you make the barriers to entry too high.
Yeah.
So, I mean, personally, I feel that this is something that should be rolled out across. Like, I think it's quite an easy thing to introduce and implement. But, on the flip side, I do love like the high-end tech, like the Formula One tech of crazy time trial bikes and all that. It's cool. But I feel, it shouldn't be a necessity. But it's good in the UK. We have like Cycling Time Trials, who are the sort of governing body of domestic time trials, right? And they, to their credit, have been really had a big focus on introducing road bike only categories.
Yeah.
And so, like, personally, like we're in a very like privileged position as at GCN. We can ride we can ride all the fancy kit.
We get the
access
luxury of riding
right?
all of the absolute killer bikes.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, but like when I do time trials this year, I've sort of decided that I want to do road bike ones because I want to sort of advocate that side of the sport.
Do you want to bring it back to sort of like the purest form of like sort of like I was going to say man versus machine, but person and machine, like rather than like just all about the machine.
Yeah. I mean, it's just time trialing is quite a pure thing, and But I mean, obviously, yes, I'm still going to be on a very expensive road bike, and so people can say that's hypocritical. You should be on like a £1,000 bike or something. But so there still is a gap between the best road bike and the cheapest road bike. Yes, of course, but that gap is far smaller than the chasm that exists between a top-end TT bike and...
So I was explaining to Josh earlier, because you're probably not all that familiar with the cycling time trials in the UK, but there's the road bike category, but recently there's been some updates and changes to the regulations, because I was explaining how the rules were basically like exploited and it became a category that people then were trying to...
A bit like what,
people were trying to do all the marginal gains and go absolutely crazy. What happens if we broaden the subject away from just juniors though? Like, what's your thoughts on whether this could be introduced into like pro racing in general, like the restrictions on time trial equipment? Do you know it's a good thing, a bad thing?
We've sort of seen it, right? For a while, they were trying with some of these, some of the early, I think, Middle Eastern races, and I think didn't Australia maybe play with that for a year, where it's hey, don't bring all the time trial equipment.
I think that's still a thing.
They would do it that way. The racing is good. I think the racing is great. It doesn't scratch that itch for us true equipment
Saudi
nerds.
Tour. Taylor Finney.
Okay,
right. TT on the BMC. Remember? I think Steve Cummings was like second or something.
I mean, I don't remember that, but
of that era. But I think it's fun. But I think certainly for those of us super nerds, half of why you watch Formula One is the cars, or for me, like 90% is for the tech and the cars. We love that about pro cycling. We love to see the new equipment come about. So I think it's important to keep that there at some level, because I don't know what percentage of people watching this are more into the tech even than the racing, but I think it's probably a pretty high percentage. But certainly for junior and espoir racing and where, kind of you're a pre-professional and money is everything, I think this is fabulous. But if it were up to me, no computers, no radios.
In like racing in general?
Pro racing. No computers, no radios.
See,
you heard it here.
Wow. I feel like we've got to explore that a bit further, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, go on, explain this a little bit. What's your reasoning behind this?
I think, and I feel like you see it in the data a little bit, but I think some of the modern pros are so focused on the computer and the number that we don't see maybe the excitement that we would have seen in the old days, or maybe you see the guy who's so calculated that he's not going to hang on that wheel because he doesn't want to push 2 more watts because he thinks he's going to blow.
Yeah.
My money says if you take that computer away, he pushes the 2 more watts and the racing is, or he pushes the 2 more watts and he blows spectacularly, and it's better for the fans.
But
I
counter to that.
Yeah.
I agree, but I would still have the computer on the bike, but the rider can't see the numbers that they're doing.
I'm okay with track.
So we
put it under the saddle.
Yeah. So
you can see it at home.
So when we're watching on TV at home, we can see. I also think the riders should have radios, but they can't communicate with them, and they're not in private communication with the team. I think it's useful to have it if every rider has a radio in, and the race director can then tell the riders things.
So keep it fair.
So he can say, you're disqualified from the race. Move to the back.
Safety. I think
can
it's
say,
like road furniture. Yeah. I mean, that I could see being...
There's a huge crowd of French farmers blocking the road in a kilometre. Charge headlong into them.
Yeah, beware
full
tractors.
Gas. Yeah. We've seen pro racing without race radios. Obviously, the World Championships, the Olympics, Olympics is always one that throws out a bit of a wild card in terms of how the race goes, because I think everyone's not used to having So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting subject.
Make breakaways more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, look, we need to open this up to everybody else, don't we? Get involved in the comment section down below. Share your thoughts, not only with your thoughts on the equipment regulations for time trials, but also Josh's curveball of no computers and no race radios anymore.
He came here with an agenda.
Yeah,
He came.
Think how much more important the guy or girl on the back of the motorcycle with the chalkboard becomes, like the old days.
Yeah.
That's a job to aspire to now.
They've been queuing up at the job centre, signing on.
People will be like fighting for position in the bunch so they can actually see the chalkboard.
See the chalkboard.
Be like relaying the message down the peloton. Like, yeah, mega.
It's now time for Hot and Spicy Tech.
Mega. You absolutely nailed that then. Right, this week Hot Tech is packed full of new bikes, and we're going to kick it off with the Ridley Noah Fast, which is said to be 8.5 watts faster at 50 kilometres an hour than the old one.
Glad they specify the speed.
Yeah, I like that actually.
That
And that they've said what bike is faster than, because lots of times it's just like, this bike is 8 watts faster, end of sentence.
Yeah.
So, in a press release that Ridley shared about it, they've stated that they've started from scratch with the third generation of the bike. And, well, here's our checklist of things. Optimised aerodynamics, progressive geometry, new cockpit with a focus on aero positioning, and a holistic approach. I'm not entirely sure what that means yet. But, yeah, as we've got wind tunnel tests, say, at 50k an hour, this has confused me to start with. You guys tell me if I'm rightly or wrongly confused. 7 watts, it saves 7 watts on the Noah Fast compared to the Falcon RS. Compared to the Noah Fast, the latest one is 8.5 watts faster. Like, I feel like I'm getting confused by this.
It's not as clear as it could be.
I don't know what the Falcon RS is.
Well, that's the less aero bike. But I don't know. Anyway, prices for the Noah Fast, you've got lots of different bike builds available. Start from €5,499 for the frame set, going up to €8,799 for a fully assembled bike with Ultegra Di2. No mention of weight here. What I did find interesting, mixed in amongst the launch of the Noah Fast, was the launch of an additional bike, the Noah Normal.
It's not called that.
It's not called the Noah Normal. I made that up
that.
purely for comedy effect.
Okay.
Right, it shares the same geometry and aero characteristics as the Noah Fast, but it uses a different carbon fibre layup and hasn't got like the crazy custom cockpit integration. So yeah, kind of cool.
It looks fast.
I mean, arguably that's the most important thing for some people. Josh would probably disagree with that.
Yeah.
Right, Basso have also launched a new bike, haven't they?
Yes, the Sempre Veloce.
Wow.
I know, wow.
You're
basically Italian.
Yeah, what does this mean?
Well, we just Googled it.
You could have played it cool then.
I could have done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not that cool. Always fast in Italian.
Always
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
I wish you'd have pretended that you did know that.
I did guess that's what it
Yeah.
was. Then we had to fact check it.
What I thought was interesting about this is that they say they've designed a bike to be a performance bike for the everyday rider rather than feeling like it's a performance bike for pro riders that everyday people can then buy. Which I think is kind of like a cool way of doing it. Not the first time we've seen that though, is it?
No. It was cool. Yeah, I mean, we had a good time with Basso as well, didn't we? When we visited the
Yeah, we
clubhouse.
visited, yeah. Did you ever see any of the stuff that we put out of Ollie riding Monte Grappa 10 times? Oh my goodness. Like, this actually lunatic rode up up and down Monte Grappa 10 times in a row, and it was like 36 hours it took us.
Oh my God.
I know, right.
Yeah, wax chain as well.
Oh yeah, wax chain.
Wow.
There you go.
Right, 780 grams for an unpainted frame, the size 53, 35mm tyre clearance, loads of integrated handlebar options. They say it is, it's got a stiffer head tube, stiffer bottom bracket than the Diamante SV, and it's more aero by 16%. They've got a build example that they say comes in at 6.7 kilos. Not that the UCI weight limit matters if you're making a bike that's designed for the everyday rider that's probably not going to do UCI racing. Stefan Kung has got a new custom painted bike.
Another
Guys,
Italian bike.
What do we make of this?
Wow.
Josh, share your thoughts. You go first.
Is Fade coming back?
I don't know.
Fades. I don't know if they ever went away.
Yeah.
To me, my heart belongs with Greg LeMond. That era, nobody faded that Klein. Actually, I'll.
Yeah.
Some of those
Klein
colours.
had the axial fade where it faded on the two. I mean, that was next level.
I mean, I think it's great. Part of me wants to say the reason everyone started going more elaborate with their paint jobs is because lots of the bikes are starting to look pretty similar.
There's a lot of truth to that.
You know, I'm all for it.
You have also been doing some polishing. Like, do you want to tell us more about this?
Well, yeah. So saying that you don't like fades and you like Le Monde era bikes, right? Well, this is a Petechia, right?
Don't scratch it.
Won't scratch it. This is a restoration project I've been doing, okay? And some people might have seen the first couple of parts, but I bought this old Petechia.
Look at that.
Right. Anyway, we completely restored the paint on it and custom repainted it so that it's better than it was when it left the factory. Because the old Petechia signature, that was just this naff old sticker that they just put on there. We've stenciled that on and painted it and lacquered it. And also, I bought this old Campagnolo group set. So a bit of a sneak peek, because I've not finished building it and doing it yet. But I bought this old Campagnolo chorus group set and I have been furiously polishing it.
That's amazing.
Oh, look at that.
So,
look at the way the light... Oh, that's beautiful.
It's going to look like
beautiful.
absolutely bling when it's done. I've been restoring the old bits. So yeah, stay tuned for that, because I'm going to finish building it and sorting out restoring the old bits. But it's taken me a while.
There's also the sort of slight downfall of the build is that I promised you I'd build you a set of wheels. And I've currently just got a set of hubs. I haven't got any spokes or rims yet, and I haven't built them. And I don't know how to build wheels, so I'm going to learn.
But they look amazing. The hubs look amazing. Right.
So I might be the downfall of this project. Right. Having spoken about performance road bikes and stuff, I feel like it's nice to have a look at this bike. It's the Pashley Road Finder, and something that they describe as the Swiss Army knife of bikes. This, I think, I love this.
Well, I know why you're going to like it.
Well, I like the brown and the tan.
It's your favourite colour. It's just another celebration of brown.
No.
It's different browns everywhere.
I mean, the frame is a dark red.
Are you going to try and say this is I'm colourblind.
I don't believe Ollie. I don't know if you want to believe him or not. I think I like this style of bike. It's cool, isn't it?
It needs chrome components. Shiny silver. Look at that. To me, that's where it loses.
It needs a chain set, doesn't it?
Shimano, Campy, bring back polished, please.
Imagine if
Do you know what? I think
limited
they will.
edition Dura Ace.
Well, he mirror polished up a Dura Ace crankset because he's got thousands of them at home. So he just
might as well.
Yeah. And then
might as well sacrifice. It was a power meter one as well.
Yeah.
Oh wow, there you go.
But people loved that, and it did look amazing.
Yeah.
What I thought was interesting is this is steel frame, and it's kind of like, I don't want to say designed to be like an affordable bike, but it's at the lower price point of what we see with new bikes. But it's using steel tubing, but then they've also used 3D printed intersection for the tubes at the seat post area. So kind of cool as well.
That does look cool. I do like it.
Yeah.
New saddle from Selle Italia.
Well, Selle San Marco.
Yeah.
It's called, let me just check the name of this thing. It's called the Mantra, and it's designed for off-road applications, so mountain biking or gravel basically. But the shape of it is what I'm finding quite interesting. Short nose, but the nose is also really wide as well. So let me look at some of the stats here. Wide padded nose, 40 millimeters wide, designed to enhance comfort during intense efforts and improve control on descents. Also, it's got an open shell design, but because it's made for off-road, the cover is still all the way across the top. So you just relieve that pressure without getting all the mud spraying up through there. More news, pro team news about Park Tools have now teamed up with Soudal men's and women's teams. They're going to be their official tool supplier for 3 seasons, which is pretty cool. Pinarello news as well. They've also teamed up with MotoGP riders, is that right?
I mean, I'm not a MotoGP aficionado.
No, me neither.
Because
No.
So
the tech is amazing, but I don't follow the racing at all.
the MotoGP world champion is this guy called Jorg Martin.
No, look. I even practiced and wrote down the pronunciation of this for you.
Apparently it's pronounced Jorge
Martin.
There you go. He's the dude. Anyway.
Belinda's even laughing.
They've made him.
Belinda, don't laugh.
Ollie's brain is filled with Italian. Now that he's an Italian expert, he can't do Spanish.
They've made Jorge a Pinarello. This bike's amazing.
Yeah, this is incredible.
This is amazing. Yeah. Look at the paint job on this.
The wheels as well, the details and the level of intricacy on that.
It is a beautiful, beautiful paint job.
I mean, it's something you've done quite a few like custom paint videos, and you've been to places that do all this stuff. That's going to take forever to do that.
Yeah, that's several days' work to make something like that.
Yeah.
Also, I've noticed on the top tube, it's got his name. His nickname is apparently the Martinator.
I mean, if you're world number one, you have whatever.
The Martinator.
Yeah, rate that.
Call you the Patinator.
It's not quite the same because I'm not world number one. I'm not world number one at anything.
Oh, you would be at something. Brown
bikes.
Yeah.
I'm number one in brown bikes.
Dura Ace cranksets.
And Dura Ace cranksets. I'm the world's number one collector of Dura Ace cranksets.
Yeah. The Patinator.
I noticed underneath a couple of the shows, actually, the last few weeks, there have been a handful of people asking what has happened to the orange retro Pinarello frame that was positioned just there.
Yeah.
Now,
we tracked it down.
Well,
it was stolen.
It wasn't stolen. I can confirm. It wasn't stolen. But, so I built the bike up with like a retro modern build, like old frame with modern 12-speed rim brake Di2, which actually like not many people know exists, but it's kind of cool. And then took it all back apart. It went on the wall, and then Shimano were like, "Hey, can we borrow the bike to go on display at one of our shows?"
That's pretty cool.
It was cool, but unfortunately, we literally taken the bike to pieces, and it was just a frame on the wall, so we had to build it back up and send it out to the bike show. Here, if we could show a picture of it, here it is. I think it kind of looks cool.
Who supplied the crankset for that particular build?
Well, look, you can laugh all you like. This was a project that Shimano helped support, so it's not my crankset.
Okay.
Belongs to Shimano.
Okay.
Just found it under the bed.
Yeah, there you go. I think that actually pretty much wraps up Hot Tech this week. Reminder, we've still got our Zwift club rides going every Wednesday, so if you want to get involved for some like fun community riding.
Sound.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. This is part of the show, Josh, where we pick out comments that other people have been leaving underneath our videos from last week, and then we read them out.
Okay.
Clues in the name. So from underneath last week's show, we've got DTS Ubulski, something like that. They say they really like the fact that the bike vault is being done as suggested by a viewer, and it really gives you time to appreciate the bike. Thanks for the great show as always. Like lots of people, right, have been complaining that when we do the bike vault, we don't show the picture of the bike long enough, and unfortunately they then have to look at us talking about the bike.
Yeah.
So we fixed that up, and everyone appreciated it.
There were quite a few comments on that. There was
People get so passionate about this stuff. I don't know why.
There's also a comment from Tertiary Eel, another comment from Tertiary Eel.
Oh yeah, actually.
Saying week 95 of asking for the UCI has no jurisdiction here t-shirt.
Yeah. I do think we should get them a t-shirt made at some point.
I'm trying to pass it higher up the chain.
Higher up the chain.
Here at Megabase.
Here at GCN Megabase.
I'm trying to make things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the projects on the... I feel like this is a t-shirt that you would wear, Josh.
I would wear that t-shirt.
Yeah.
So we need to get an extra one made for Josh.
Yeah, we'll get one.
Yeah, all right. Si made a video about changing his air road from 2x to 1x the other week. A lot of people were not happy about the fact when you remove the front derailleur hanger, the frame was unpainted. So lots of people kicking up a fuss about it. I think it didn't help that his bike is white and carbon's obviously black, so it really stood out.
Stands out.
Yeah. White tape would have done the job.
You can see it on that one actually, but it doesn't stand out on that one because it's black.
Yeah, white tape would have fixed it up. There's a couple of comments actually.
Andrew Cannabis saying Alex with your age crank joke never get old.
Yeah.
There you go. I agree. Never get old.
Hogdog4343 says, having been riding one bike for years, it's become apparent to me that most road riders, and says his clubmates, don't have a clue how gearing works. They seem to think that fewer gears means less range, brackets, it doesn't, and also don't realise that 2x systems with 22 to 24 gears only have 13 to 14 unique gears. I thought this was quite good. I thought you could maybe step in and explain some of this a little bit here, Josh, for people that might not realise how the gearing works.
Yeah, it's a good point. Right? The modern one-by, right? You've got these much larger cogs and these much smaller cogs, and there's some efficiency issues with the really small ones. We have to be careful there. Not a fan of the 10 or the 9 or really the 11. But you can get the same range, so you can go just as fast and you can climb just as high. You're just giving up bigger steps in between. And his point of overlap is that certainly some systems, like if you're not paying super good attention, you might have, say, a big chainring gear and a small chainring gear that are almost identical. And so those would be overlapped in that they're not really necessary.
Kind of like makes them a bit redundant.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, before we go on, one other thing. There were some comments of people commenting about the lack of stickers on my laptop. I got a new laptop, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Yeah, if anyone's got any stickers that can go, I need to replenish my stickers. So
you ask.
It's almost like this was planned.
Wow.
Whoa.
Incredible.
Actually, though, it is lucky. This is my last Rico sticker in my backpack.
That was my favourite sticker that was on my old laptop. So for people that don't know, right, this is Rico the dog. Josh gave me a sticker for Rico the dog when he was here last time, and this is like, how would you describe it? The official Silca dog, the official Silca mascot at Silca HQ?
The Silca mascot. He's a blind old Pomeranian who comes to work every day, rides in a basket on my e-bike, and just loves his life.
What Silca components does he make?
Is he in charge of chain loop production? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is good. Where are you going to position the first sticker?
I'm just going to pop this one. I'll give it a nice prominent position here.
Right, so now time for the bike vault. This is the part of the show where we take pictures that everyone has been sending in. We judge them to be either nice or super nice. If they're super nice, the bell gets rung. There we go. Okay, right, first up this week, this is actually Ollie's time trial bike. So, Josh, because this is a picture Ollie has taken of his own bike, we can be really critical of this if we want to. Please share your thoughts. You can be I would prefer it if you were harsh, actually. If you've got anything bad to say.
I want to be harsh, but man, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Coach chain rings and I'll knock you. The red on the elbow cups, I think.
Oh yeah, that's awful.
That.
How many watts is that costing?
Like at least 8.5.
So we should probably explain a bit about why we've got this crazy wheel setup as well, shouldn't we?
Oh yeah, well, we showed the wheel last time. Vision made as a special disc prototype.
Yeah.
So we've been riding it. The video's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Of what it's like to ride a double disc.
And also here's a picture of me with double discs in my road bike with mud guards.
With mud guards.
So we going super nice or not? Because I've got a shadow stand and everything.
You got to go super nice.
Yes. Get in.
I mean, what are we judging mine?
Nice.
Nice.
That's just a nice.
Shots fired.
That's just a nice, that one. There's just too many different browns going on there, isn't there?
This bronze.
It's just too many.
Is this bike brown or bronze?
It's brown,
Hard
isn't
to
it?
tell.
That was a perfect. It depends.
It depends. It depends on how you look at that.
Okay, right. First up, go on, Ollie. What
we have got Laroldino with a Viello V+1.
I'm a big fan of the colour. It's got a pink fade at the front half, I think, unless it's just my eyes.
Very subtle.
Yeah.
That's us.
Say what, the gravel trails where Laroldino lives look a bit crap, don't they?
The gravel trail is not looking that exciting.
That's not Big Sugar, is it, Alex?
The sign at the back says parking for residents of 1 to 5 something terrace only.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do live there.
That's a Serrata fade. Do you remember?
I don't remember
that era.
That, yeah.
That was kind of a well-known. He had a red to yellow, and then that sort of pink to different pink. I don't know what you'd call it.
I like it.
What are we going then?
I like it.
What are you saying on this one?
I quite like super nice.
Super clean at the cockpit.
Yeah,
It's got the matching pink on the rear light.
Oh yeah.
Wheels and logos and tyres all lined up.
Everything proper,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Super nice.
Smart.
Yeah,
Super
go
nice.
for it.
Okay, next up.
Fuego.
So it's a winter bike from Neverending. Where's this?
Pisgah, North Carolina.
Yeah,
beautiful
Pisgah Forest.
riding in Pisgah.
I've done lots of things in Pisgah Forest.
Sounds quite strange. Maybe we should just move on.
Spent a lot of time.
Right, let's talk about bikes before all these lots of other things. I don't know. Is it just a hardtail mountain bike a rigid mountain bike, sorry, with a drop bar? Or is it actually a gravel bike? First thing I want to talk about. What do we think?
Ooh. I don't know.
I don't actually know.
I think that is That is a mountain bike, no? That's then had... Yeah, it's a mountain bike.
Oh, yeah, we've got the description.
But then he's put in a solid fork into it. So it's a bit of a...
I'm going to say if this bike was clean and really nicely presented, I would be on the verge of a super nice here. But I feel like they could have just taken this picture at the start of their ride.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to go nice on that one.
I think I'm inclined to go nice, but I think, Josh, we should let you take the decider on this.
I'm going to say nice. I think if the bags were matching, if we'd been matchy-matchy on the bags, that might push it over, clean it up a little bit.
The camo bar tape as well is just a bit...
It's too much for
It's a
me.
bit much.
What bar tape? I can't see it.
Bloody hell.
Right, Johnny Spitfire next.
That's a cool name. I wish I was called Johnny Spitfire.
Yeah, that could be your nickname when you're world number one.
Yeah.
This is Pride and Joy from Pearson Cycles. The rough with the smooth, apparently. The bottle cages are really upsetting me, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
First thing we would normally pick up here, Josh, is that it looks like the handlebars are against the wall, which is going to scratch the lever.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But it is a I mean that is quite a sort of scratchy wall, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. The bottle cages are throwing me.
Oh God, I hadn't even spotted that.
I really do like the
Why are the bottle cages?
branding
Why are
on
the bottle
fork leg.
cages throwing you?
The branding on the fork leg is a plus. The bottle cages I struggle with.
But they're the same.
Ollie.
Oh, he just getting. I just love how much you're struggling.
I can't help. Right.
If they were brown,
Yeah,
different
if they
story.
were brown.
But
Okay, nice. I feel like we've kind
Dirty. The chain's really dirty. That's not a wax chain, is it? It's got to be a
it's
nice.
not a wax chain. Right, nice.
All right.
Okay, right. Sunshine Coast Matt. I'm assuming he's from the Sunshine Coast with a Columbus SLX frame and fork with Shimano components.
Oh, Battalion.
Mainly Dura Ace 9100.
That is. Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Look at that sort of like leather padded saddle thing going on there.
Like a quilted saddle.
Yeah, looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm into that. Although the only thing that I don't like about this, and I think Josh is the same. I think it needs like a chromed chain set, doesn't it?
I could
It
sell
would be
them
better.
now.
I'm gonna go. It's super nice.
Yeah.
It would be super nice with a chrome component set. Your only mistake running old school proper round drops, gotta have them horizontal on the bottom there. He's got a little bit of
because
an
they're a
up
bit
tick.
tilted.
I'm definitely a horizontal proper drops sort of guy.
Yeah.
But you're still
But
going
everything
super
else,
nice.
I'm gonna go super nice.
Maybe I should try and sell this person my polished Dura Ace chain set for this bike.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, isn't it? Super nice.
Super nice.
MacGyver next. With a Santa Cruz Stigmata.
Do you know what? I'm not feeling this bike. There's something about it. It's just not. It's not wowing me. I don't want to seem harsh, but
It's just sort of the unkept lawn. It's just
Criticizing the backdrop.
Yeah.
It is distracting. I'll say that.
I don't feel like there's any standout features for this bike. I mean, you guys can
I
correct me.
feel like
if
it could.
I'm wrong.
I just feel like it's just not. It's not.
Better
The
background.
photo's not selling.
It's missing
the
a
bike.
detail.
Okay.
Maybe that and like beautiful sunset background
Yeah.
Oh,
could
Well, I mean,
sway us.
I'm going to go nice.
yeah.
Nice. Sorry. Jake to the B with a 2023 Trekker SL6 Pro with upgrades, apparently. Oh. Okay. What do you make of this? I kind of quite like it.
That is cool, isn't it?
Lidl Trek bottle.
Oh,
Very large and bulbous saddlebag.
very short stem.
Yes.
Yeah, very unique bar position. That's a really short bar, short stem.
Are
Short
they
bar
levers really turned in?
with a
Yeah. I'm on the fence here.
And
It's
not
nice.
in big, it's not in sort of Biggie Smalls. At the on the chain, you know. Also, it's a bit. I find it a little bit distracting how the Bontrager logos aren't the same on both the front and back wheels. The way that
I've only just realised that.
Aeolus logo.
Yeah, I didn't even
It's
notice.
kind of just throwing me a little bit. It's almost creating an illusion that the rear wheel, to me, looks bigger than the front wheel. When you just sort of look at it.
Bigger backwards or front, like the reverse penny farthing.
Yeah, like an illusion. It's like an illusion going on. It's not obviously the same side.
I feel like I've been a bit harsh in some of these bike files, so I'm willing to supernice this if you guys are.
It's a nice.
It's a nice.
Oh, I'll be overruled, don't worry about it.
There you go.
Oh, that was the last one of the show.
There we go.
We ended on just a nice. Crikey. Right, I tell you what, Josh, thanks for joining us on the show this week.
Thanks for having me.
It's just been really good fun. As we said partway through the show, get involved in the comment section down below. Share your thoughts on Josh's comment about race radios and computers and Canada's ban on time trial equipment for juniors. But also subscribe to GCN Tech because Josh is hanging around and we're shooting a couple more videos this afternoon. So stay tuned to find out what we've got coming up. Right, thanks Josh, we're out of there.
Thanks
Bye.
guys.